from the Apple Creek YMCA. And you're probably wondering why I have all this garbage all over the table. And I think maybe you have heard the phrase, what is one person's junk is another person's treasure. Well, these are all my intentional treasures today. It does look like it all needs to go to the recycling bin, but actually that's where I went hunting today for all of these treasures. I'm going to be doing some gardening tips for you today, and these are the things that are going to help us with this gardening project. I wasn't able to get to the store because the store was closed, so I couldn't get fancy pots, and I had some leftover seeds, and I have dirt left over from last year's patio pots, and so all of these things will help me start my garden for this spring. So you see I have a milk container, I have a juice container, I have some egg containers, and I'm going to share with you how they can all be how you start plants. So if you are a young person, you're going to need a grown-up to help you a little bit, because you're going to need to make some cuts. And I made a cut all by myself before I got here with a pair of scissors so I could separate this milk carton. I'm going to actually use this to plant today. And guess what? I think this, if I put the cap right back on it, I have a feeling that that's going to be my own little funnel so I can water my plants in a little while. So I'm going to use as many parts of these as I can. A juice container. Here's another really nice base that I'll be planting in a little bit. And you're thinking an egg container, well, that is going to help me start seeds as well. So as I mentioned, I have a big bucket of dirt from all my leftover plants from last year, so I'm just going to be scooping some dirt into these containers that I was sharing with you. The other thing that I did beforehand is I poked a little hole in the bottom of them so that if I happen to overwater my plants a little bit, it'll just drain right down through the bottom and it won't rot the seeds. So I put some dirt in there. The other thing that'll be really nice and handy is if you take a pencil and you poke just a little bit of a hole right into the middle of each of those little pockets of dirt, and that gives me a little space for the seed to plant. Now I had some leftover seeds from last year too, and I didn't need them all in my garden last year, and so I've got some flowers, I've got some kale, I love cilantro, and I have a little bit of that. I think that's what I'm going to plant today. And I also want to get some starts with my zucchini plants, so that's what I'm going to use some of these other containers for. So I made that little dent right down into the egg container, into the dirt, and that's where I'm going to land each one of these little seeds. I'm going to poke it right down into each of those holes. And then I can push it down there and I can cover it up with a little bit of dirt. And then I'm going to take my funnel and a little bit with some water, and I'm going to sprinkle water right over the top of that. And then I'm going to put it into a nice sunny window to help it start to grow. This was another container. This was some lunch meat that I ended up using up, and the container is going to be perfect for another set of seeds that I want to grow. One of my flowers in my patio pots last year, beautiful, beautiful plant, grows nice and tall. It's called a canna. And I decided to save some of the seeds from last year, and that's what these little black round seeds are. And I'm gonna use my tray there to catch the water down below if I overwater. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna push those seeds right down into that dirt. I'm gonna give those a nice sprinkle and put those in a nice sunny spot. And hopefully we're gonna have some beautiful vegetables and flowers to either transplant into my garden when it's time, or to watch them grow right inside for the growing season. So there's a little gardening tip for you today.